So guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here to talk to you about my experience with Diablo 4. I haven't beat the game, I haven't fought all the bosses or anything like that, but I do want to just kind of do updates on the channel. This is going to be posted on multiple channels, so I'll keep the language very clean for anyone that is interested in following my game reviews. If you like it, I'll do more on my tech channel. If not, it is what it is. So I downloaded Diablo 4, and initially, because it came to Game Pass, and I had a problem signing in. There was something wrong with the servers. I wasn't able to really use the the BattleNet servers, and I just couldn't really play anything. Be it Diablo Immortal, I was having problems loading Call of Duty. I'm guessing that they had some type of issue for like a couple days or a couple hours, however long it was. So I decided to just come back to this game, just try again the following day. Still didn't work. The third day, it finally worked, and then I got into Diablo 4. So let me just say, the character creation isn't as in-depth as I thought it would be, because you play an overhead game, and as soon as you press start and you look at your character, don't get me wrong, the graphics look really good on the create a character screen with the sweat going down a person's face. I like that. It reminded me of Demon Souls initially, the remake, where they actually did attention to detail. Right now, it's not as detailed as something like Demon Souls. I'm just saying, graphically, it looked really, really good, that aspect of the game. So once I finally got into it, I noticed immediately that this game actually has real cutscenes, meaning the previous game, Diablo 3, or Diablo Immortal, or Diablo... I haven't really finished Diablo 2, so I don't want to say that. I do have that on the Switch, but it just didn't resonate with me. I really don't like it. I started off with Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. I was a necromancer, and to be honest with you, it was so incredibly easy, Diablo 3, that you can just go eat dinner and come back, and your character is just wrecking everybody. And it puts it in perspective. I didn't start off in normal. I went to the more hardcore levels where it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all that for Diablo 3. And to be honest, I might have died maybe 3 times throughout the entire campaign. It took a long time to kill enemies because of, the lack of power that I had. But also, it was like your bone army was practically invincible, and I just wasn't getting hit at all. So it was fun for me. My wife played with me later on, and we had like literally 6 skeleton warriors running around, and then a bunch of skeletons that you shoot, that shoot the magic, and then we had the homing attack that hit enemies without me doing anything. It was practically effortless to play, and it is what it is. Obviously, if you pick another character, it's more difficult to play. So coming into Diablo 4, when I read a lot of this stuff and people were talking about the characters, who you can pick from and things like that, like I said, I like the Necromancer. That's just what I always pick. I tried it again this game. I do want to say that they actually made it where your army of monsters can be destroyed by enemies that are stronger than them, especially if they get ganged up on. And it felt like I actually wasn't, like, I'm not powerless without them, but it definitely shows that without your necromancer abilities to bring things to life, your character is substantially weaker than the previous game. So I do like that. They're not OP anymore, at least to me. Now, as I'm playing it, I'm watching the movie scenes, how it starts off. You save the people, they drug you, and they're about to sacrifice you and stuff. And I'm like, I appreciate the fact that they decided to actually put movie scenes in a cohesive story that you can follow. Before the previous Diablo, you just stand there, you talk to someone, they say a bunch of mumbo jumbo that makes no sense, like they expect you to know everything, and then you run over to the next section. This game feels like it's not more interactive, but it's a Diablo game. It's an over-the-top game. There's no reason for it not to be able to have decent movie scenes. It should have movie scenes, obviously, especially if you're calling yourself a AAA experience and you want longevity in your games. You got to have a lot of content. So far, it's not bad. But I also want to preference this video by saying that I do also play Diablo Immortal on my tablet, on my phone, not as much as I used to, but to me, and I'm not trying to be mean, it feels like this game, and I said this in another video, is nothing more than Diablo Immortal with better graphics. And what I mean by that is just the locations that you go to, the locations you go to so far in Diablo Immortal is very similar, like open world, but it's not really open world. It's just more so you're on a map. There's different sections of the map. And every time I go to a new section of the game, it feels like they're trying to cater the level to whatever I am. And I don't like that at all. Normally in other RPGs, especially back in the day before everyone needed instant gratification and, didn't want to think about what they're doing, Gaming has, in my opinion, has been dumbed down to the point where everyone wants either a moderate challenge or no challenge at all. Meaning like the average gamer. Like, don't get me wrong, if I go into an area that says recommended level 30 to 50, I expect to be killed when I get there if I go to level 15. But because these missions allow you to go to different locations, on your way there, you're going to level up accordingly to do each section. And I try to go through the entire map of that section. I do those little special events where all the monsters are spawning. And because I have the Necromancer, it makes it easier for me to be able to get my crew to take hits rather than me. So there's that. So far, the gameplay has been great. Graphically, it looks good. I don't think the acting is too bad. It's typical to like any Diablo game. I don't know if they have the same voice actors or not. But again, it's always been the same. Nothing changed for me. It just feels like Diablo Immortal with better graphics. So let's talk about some of the features, right? What I noticed immediately when I went to the setting and looked at my move list, there aren't many moves to honestly choose from. Like, for instance, you know, normally in Diablo games, when you reach a certain level, you're able to unlock a particular type of attack. So let's say your initial attack is you're shooting. In Diablo 3, if you're a Necromancer, these spikes come from underneath the ground and you're hitting someone with spikes, right? And then as you keep leveling up, you unlock abilities in that level, but then the next regular A attack or X attack or whatever it is you're using, PlayStation, whatever, that attack now you unlocked the second edition of that might be more powerful than the first one. It gave me an incentive to actually want to level up and try the moves out, right? And because there's no screen, which I don't know why they didn't do this. Most games do this. The very simple feature that I think that Diablo should have implemented a long time ago, but for some reason they won't. You should have a feature that allows people, maybe it is there and I didn't see it, where it allows people to look at the move before they pay for the move. Now, I will say that you can undo a move. Like when you level up, it gives you like a token of sorts to be able to unlock an ability. And then there are more tokens for that same ability if you want to. And similar to Lies of P. I don't know if you guys ever played Lies of P, but if you have, Lies of P have it where you have to unlock or power yourself up to a certain point, and then it unlocks the next tier that you can get to. That's how Diablo 4 is. Here's the problem with that. With the Necromancer, the moves are so lackluster in my opinion that I just decided to just power up my minions, power up my what are those called? The people. I forget what they call it. They're like magical skeletons. Once you reach a certain level, you can unlock more than the traditional skeletons. Like you can unlock shield skeletons, you can unlock mage skeletons that shoot magic and stuff. There's different abilities that you can unlock. I would normally show that, but to be honest, I honestly didn't want to record the gameplay, and I didn't care that deeply to really show it. To be honest, this is an over-the-top type game right here. And even though it is action-packed, it's very, very repetitive. I don't have a problem with the repetition. I actually find it to be quite enjoyable. But I'm not really paying attention to the story as much as I would, let's say, a Final Fantasy or a God of War or any game that requires me to actually, you know, be rewarded for what it is that I'm doing. I feel like I'm just going through the motions. Diablo 4 is definitely a game where I can just pick it up, not pay attention to anything that's happening, level up endlessly, and then put it down, come back 3-4 months later if I wanted to, and I still wouldn't be lost because it literally gives you a marker to where you're supposed to go. It's everything about this game is a helping hand. It just feels like it's more arcadey than, I don't know. Did that make sense to people? Like, it feels like more like an arcade experience. Like you put some quarters in and you play with your friends at the arcade. It doesn't feel like this game has any longevity, honestly. It's just, you know. So anyway, as I'm playing the game, I'm learning more about the story. You know, you're trying to find Lilith or whatever her name is, and every place you go to, people are telling you stories of Lilith. At one point, you end up meeting some people that said, I saw her before, and she's out here. I don't know. I guess she's a TV and I don't know how to say the word, TV evangelist, whatever she is, trying to spread hate and discord among the people and all this stuff. And obviously it's going to unfold into a bigger story. This is probably the first time in Diablo history where they actually gave you an enemy that is actively doing something in the story, and we're seeing it happen as we progress in the game. That's why I say when it comes to the story, I'm actually glad they finally put an effort into that. Now, I'm not saying that other Diablo games don't have an effort in terms of lore. But what I mean is it's never been fleshed out this well. So I will give credit to where credit is due. The devs know what they're doing in terms of just making a entertainment game. But so far, since I picked this up, I haven't done a hardcore character, right? But I did do, did give me an option for difficulty. So I didn't pick normal. I picked like the second veteran level, whatever it is. I tried to go higher than that initially. I know the older Diablos, like Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, allowed me to go to a higher tier of difficulty from the beginning. This one only let me go to the second. And I'm like, since it's an over-the-top game, dude, this isn't Dark Souls. This isn't Ninja Gaiden. This isn't any of those games. This is substantially easier than all of those games. So I said I'll just start at that harder tier and see if it's more challenging. And to be honest, like I said, I haven't been in any danger of actually dying. Like, the only couple times I did die in the game was because, no, now I think about it. Did I die in this game? I might be confused with the two. No, I didn't die. No, as a matter of fact, I haven't died in this game once. I'll heal, of course, obviously, and I'll stay out of combat and stay in the background and use my necromancer moves in order to hit people and things like that. But no, I honestly haven't really taken huge damage. I might have came like maybe once or twice close to dying, but outside of that, I didn't die. So if I did say I died earlier in the video, that's my bad. I was thinking of the previous Diablo game, Diablo 3, when I tried other characters. But so far, I only tried the Reaper, or whatever you call it, in this one, the Necromancer. As I'm going through the game, all I'm seeing is a bunch of fetch quests. They aren't very exciting. They aren't very, like, I don't have the motivation to really do it. Like, this is a game where it feels like it's meant to be played with multiple people, friends, family, stuff like that. If you have a group of people and you're trying to probably do, I guess, raids and things, that's the replay value of it. But I don't feel like it's going to get any better. I've reached a point where I'm just looking at the tier tree, right? And I got over to the point where I'm just like, I tried the other abilities. I had so much money in the game that I'm just refunding my abilities and trying each one. And that's why I say the abilities feel really, really, really lackluster in this game. It doesn't feel like I'm powerful. It doesn't feel like, even if I, calculate, let me preference this by also saying this. You know how you can put like runes and different stuff in the armor? I didn't do none of that stuff at all. All I do is get armor, pick it up, go back to town, sell it, come right back, continue the mission, and keep going. That's exactly what I did in Diablo Immortal, and that's exactly what I'm doing in this game. I know some people are talking about legendary drops and all these things. Based on the level that I'm playing right now, I don't really feel like it's necessary to even try to equip better equipment. Like, when I get it, I'll equip it, and it is what it is. I'm not planning for the future. I'm honestly not even reading the stats of most of the equipment, because I didn't feel like this game at the level that I'm currently playing at is even worth me putting that amount of, attention and effort into it. I'm doing fine without it. So that brings me up to the map. When I first started the missions, right, you give you a couple options to places that you can go. Now, obviously, there's side quests and things you can do in between that time, talk to NPCs, stuff like that. But there are main quests that you can do, and it's like, when you look at your map, it'll say over here, recommended level this, recommended level that. So I went to the one that had the highest recommended level, which I think is to the top to the left, and it led me through some pretty interesting places. The graphics, like I said, are pretty good. Some of the areas look like they're repeated, kind of like if you go into these random dungeon type places, and it felt like it's just rinse and repeat. It doesn't feel new. It feels like I'm still playing a older Diablo game. Granted, that's the feeling that a lot of people like. I do like that it's grittier. I do like the fact that it looks a lot darker. It's not as colorful as the last one, sure. But again, it just feels like it's lacking, I don't know, it's just missing like a soul, substance. It didn't feel like the people that made this game honestly cared about the longevity of it. It just feels like it was a quick cash grab. And I'm not going to talk about monetization and all that stuff in the game, because enough people have done that to death. I'm not interested in that. But I'm talking about the map. Totally forgot. Sorry, guys. Sidetracked. As I'm going through the maps and I'm just following the sequence of just following where I'm supposed to go, look at the map, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'll equip items when I get it. It's boring. To be honest, it's just boring. Like, I wanted a challenge. You know what I mean? And I know some people will say do hardcore that you die once is a challenge. That's not a challenge. That's just irritating. Like, I get it. For the hardcore people that's trying to go through the game and beat it on their first try and stuff and unlock whatever, I get it. That's what you guys are into. But for the average consumer, this game just didn't really hold high replay value for me, and I'm just starting it. So to put this in perspective, I'm also playing Armor Core 6, the Rubicons of Fate, whatever the hell it's called, Fire Rubicons, right? I had that on the Steam Deck. I've done that, some of those missions. How far did I get? I got up to the part where I forgot what the girl's name is, and your handler goes away for a little bit, and you do these side quests with like this AI or whatever it is. I have been doing the same missions, the one where you have to shoot the leg off the robot and then climb up and destroy all his generators and destroy the eye. I did it like 15 times. I did other missions a bunch of times. I'm up to like $3.5 million after spending $1 million on just items and just testing items out. I'm having a ball doing that. I know it may sound boring to some, but it gives me, like, Armored Core is a game where, you know, you have to prepare each stage to make sure that you come out on top, because you don't know what's going to happen until you do the stage. So the type of weapons that I carry, the type of blade that I carry, the type of handgun, I want to make sure that, you know, I prepare accordingly and make sure that my mecha can move the way it does, that I don't lose my jet boosters faster than I should, you know, just preparing for the mission. Diablo is a game, when I compare the two, and again, I know they're different genres. Obviously, comparing it to Path of Exile and a few other games would be better. But the reason I'm doing this is because this is supposed to be a AAA experience. When you play another example, Dark Souls, all the enemies, except for a few, are technically stronger than you. And as you play the game, you feel more powerful as you keep leveling it up. But they keep a certain level of difficulty. Sometimes it's ridiculous, sometimes it's not, to fight a type of boss where once you beat it, you feel like, damn, I really beat this. I feel good. Let's go on to the next part. So whether I beat it on the first time, which a lot of times I do, or I die on the boss and be like, then I keep going, you may feel like you want to quit. You may quit, but you come back later on and you're like, I'm going to beat this. And that's a good feeling. It may not do anything for you in the real world, but for entertainment reasons, it's fun to be able to accomplish something when playing the game. My wife plays Cyberpunk. She beat it. She loves that game. She didn't do any of the side quests. Now she's going back with a new save data to do all the side quests and learn all the stuff that I've been telling her about, because she enjoys it. The story is good. The missions are good. The weapons are repetitive, sure, but it's the experience of actually, you know, meeting Carrie and meeting Johnny and meeting Pan Am and all these characters. Like, you meet the mayor or governor, whoever it is that's trying to run, and you find out, you know, what's going on with him, how his mind's been altered and all this stuff. It's like there's so many outcomes to these missions that it makes you want to keep playing the game. And then on top of that, you have the NCPD stuff that you can do in Cyberpunk that, you know, keep you going. You got side quests with fixers. You have side quests that are better than the main quest. It's an enjoyable experience. The Witcher, Skyrim, all these games have done it. That's why their replay value is so high. Even if they had a rocky start, you see how they finish. Diablo, you know, said that it's going to be all this amazing content. And if we're being honest, I'm just fighting the same lame-ass enemies in each region over and over again. They don't pose a threat. Fighting kobolds, goblins, whatever the hell they are, squiggly things, I do the same move. They get caught in the move. It slows them down. My skeletons wreck them. My other skeleton, I explode bodies to do this and that. It's just super repetitive, and it doesn't feel like I'm actually getting anywhere in the game. It feels like I said before, I'm playing a top-down arcade type game where I can drop it at any time, pick it right back up, which I did. I stopped playing this for about 2 to 3 weeks because I had better stuff to play. And when I came back to it, I didn't remember the buttons. I didn't remember my attacks. All I did was went to the menu, looked at them, pressed a couple buttons, and said, oh yeah, I remember now, and kept going. It's like there's no learning curve. Anybody can pick up Diablo and play. You can be a necromancer, do a special blood move where you can hit someone from across the screen, and when they die, it automatically targets the next person. I just got to keep pressing the button. It really feels effortless. All the thing they're missing is that little icon on the left side of the screen that says auto attack. It feels like a phone app, if I'm being honest here. Now, it doesn't mean the game isn't fun. I'm actually enjoying it. It is a fun game to play that I just pick up from time to time. I'll probably keep my Game Pass for a couple months. Try to do any DLCs that they have, do the little seasonal stuff and stuff like that. Every time I come across items, I end up selling them. Because, again, I'm not one of those players where I'm trying to get legendary drops and all this stuff. It doesn't do anything for me in a game like this. It's like getting a legendary weapon in Elden Ring or getting a particular spell in a game that matters makes sense. I just don't feel it. It's just the same repetitive attacks. You fight a bunch of mobs. I have this issue where it feels like the screen is really close to the character. So another reason why I picked the Necromancer is that my skeletons will run toward the enemy before I even see it. The AI knows the enemy is there, just like the AI knows you're there. But because I have the skeletons, they'll take the hit before me, and that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't die. And I'm like, that's not really a skill thing. That's just bad planning and a terrible camera. But at the end of the day, all I want to say is that there is good. Graphics are good. So far, the voice acting, the story, the fact they have actual movie scenes, it feels like it's a more interactive game where you're not just running from point A to point B and you're not getting anything out of it. I do enjoy the cutscenes, even though you're just talking about your mumble jumble. Yes, the Lord Lilith is out here to destroy the telegraph, whatever they say, right? That doesn't change the fact that that is appreciated. But I just assume, from the last game, part 3, that a lot of the moves, especially for beloved characters like a Necromancer, would be better in 4. And it feels like the moves have been dumbed down, or they purposely made, the attacks worse to give me experience like I'm struggling against certain enemies. And the reality is, they're just bad moves. Like having a skeleton fly out of nowhere with a scythe and then swipe back at me if the enemy is near me is a lame move. They previously used to have it where they had that homing attack where it would take a dead body on the ground, it would shoot up and shoot straight at the enemy. That was a cool attack. They don't have that anymore. At least, put it this way. They might still have it, but I haven't unlocked it yet. So let me just say that. I don't want to say that they don't have it. But as I'm looking at a lot of their moves and I click them and I try them out, it just makes more sense for me to power up what I already have. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if I can probably go through majority of the game just piling up the supports for my summons, and I would be perfectly fine. Now, I do plan on trying another character soon, like after I complete the game and see how I feel about it afterwards. Maybe I'll feel like there's more urgency in it because I don't have an army behind me to hide behind. But again, it's just, it just feels disappointing. Like to charge $69 for this is honestly a crime. It's a real crime. I thank God that I didn't pay regular price for this. Now it is on Steam, I think for $34 or $29 or something like that. It's like half price or 40% off, something like that. So for the people that love Diablo, you'll probably like this game. If you played 2 and 1, in terms of just graphics and stuff, it's definitely a huge improvement of 3. It's personally, I think 3's graphics are worse than Diablo Immortals because they actually have a created character and it looks better. But Diablo 4 does deliver in terms of that Diablo experience. If you're just looking to mow down enemies and do challenges, it just feels like there's nothing else to add to it outside of that, if that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I got nothing else to say. So, this is a quick update of my Diablo 4 experience. The next time I do another video, I'm going to make sure that I've completed the game, and I'm going to talk to you about that in-game experience. I'm going to talk about what happens after the in-game, because there's obviously more content to that to keep you there. But again, I highly doubt it's any different than the repetitive content that we're already doing. Nothing changes. What? You just got an area where you can just kill enemies endlessly and just, I don't know, it just seems boring. I really did expect more, but I don't know why I did. With what Blizzard, I'm about to say, with what Blizzard has done lately, I just feel like it's a little lackluster. Definitely not worth $70. So I do look forward to Path of Exile 2, because I'm also playing that also, Path of Exile 1. And to be honest with you, I like them both. One came out in 2013, and when I look at Diablo 4, I'm like, it doesn't seem like that much of an improvement. Because again, the type of mechanics this game has, it's not like it requires much to do. And again, I'm not trying to take away from the devs, but when I compare Call of Duty or some other game that requires a certain skill level to be even able to even use the controller, this just feels extremely easy. Teach the room. Like and subscribe like always, guys. See you in the next video.